What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Team Circus live video. On the left side here, we have Kashtira. This deck is coming back in the format, baby. It is true Draco vibes. This deck is just summon big monsters and pass turn, I guess. On the right side here, we have everyone's fan favorite Swordsoul. You know, this deck is old, reliable, normal, Mogi, activate effect. Surprisingly enough, both of these decks can actually, they play kind of similar in the sense of, you know, a lot of the time they will go for like a Baron and another monster that's like really good on the field, like either a Fenrir or essentially a copy of, you know, we see the Chijao there. And they have also like some crazy back row cards as well, you know, within Birth, and then as well as the copy of Blackout here. And then they could fit a whole bunch of hand traps in the deck as well. You know, anti-spell is also very prevalent in both people's decks. So kind of interesting to see how this matchup's going to go. We're going to be seeing Kashtira going to be choosing to go first here, winning the die roll on that purple map with the purple sleeves. Managed to try to make us go and forget about his sets. So before we dive in, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We're on the road to 5K here. We need your guys' support, as well as join the Discord if you guys want to be part of some conversations here. We're going to be trying to start that up in the new year. We're going to be playing lots of stuff, you know, maybe having some poker nights or, you know, having some Yu-Gi-Oh! You guys can duel us, which could be very fun. We're going to be seeing Ogre and push someone out. You know, not the best, unfortunately, but rearranging the extra deck, or rearranging the main deck of our opponent can be quite good here. And we'll be seeing a Shifter being dropped. And then we're going to be normal summoning out a Mourner here. And then we're going to be synchro summoning away into a Barone. And then we just set one card here and no Birth. We're just going to pass turn on this. Then we're seeing Preparation is going to be activated here. We're just going to take a second to read. And they just say they're just activating it to activating it. They don't have a copy right now, anything. They're going to activate the Imperm on the Barone, which is quite good here. You're essentially forced to Barone negate this. It looks like it is going to resolve. Then we do see the Preparation summoning out the copy of Ogre here. They're going to activate Mogi, revealing the copy of Blackout here. And they're going to be able to look at the top 5 cards of the deck. And we see the Swordsoul player just smashing down those cards. You know, going to be able to rearrange. They're going to get rid of the Long Yong here because, you know, they don't want them to be able to draw. And here we're going to be seeing them go for a copy of the Chijao. But they will be able to search for it. Or it has hit the graveyard, so they won't get the search, actually. Oh, yeah, they get the search, but they don't get the draw here. Okay. They're going to see them get hit with the Ash Blossom there. That's quite good, especially because we know the Blackout's in the hand. I mean, it's good in the sense of we know Blackout's in the hand, so we can't get that additional, you know, search for the Long Yong, and then you're going to be able to set some of them out. So we're going to see a set 4 here. And a pass. And all of a sudden, that Barone negate's not very good. We're going to see them activate a Terraforming here. It's going to look like it's going to resolve. Searching for the Pressured Planet. This card is a pressure, definitely on the field. It's crazy how all the planets are really good. Like, the Tier Planet is absolutely insane for the deck. Pressured Planet's insane for Kashtira. And then, like, I keep reading the what's it called one? The one for Scareclaws. And that card's crazy. Even the Vanadium one's just absolutely insane. And then we're going to be seeing them go Blackout here. And they're going to be chaining. And then we're going to be seeing them chain the Imperm to negate. And they're also going to be chaining the effect of Heavenly Prison here to dump. Or to search. And then they're going to be cutting the deck. So I guess we are correct where they just did not negate the they're going to be seeing the top 5 cards being rearranged. They're definitely going to get rid of I mean, do you really care about getting rid of the Long Yon? you don't want them to search for emergency. You don't want them to search emergence, because that's just anything. So we're going to take there, so letting them draw into that copy of the Vishuda. They're going to go battle phase and attack for a big solid number. Let's take a second to read the Heavenly Prison. This will let them search for any card, which is pretty crazy. It's not a great spot here for, but we're going to be activating a Birth. And then we just pass on this. We don't have any way to get rid of the Birth. We're going to see them normal summon out the Taya here, activating the effect of banishing the Blackout, which can let them get 2 tokens here. The one off of the Taya, as well as the additional token if they wanted to. But they're going to ask, are you going to activate Ogre here? I don't see there's a reason to activate Ogre. Then we're going to see Blackout going to be activated here. But I guess you just get to banish stuff. I'm going to banish a Emergence. And it looks like we could just go Heavenly, which is going to let us search for really anything. We're searching for an Ashina here. Then we can go for a copy of the Baxia, which can just spin back both pack rows there, the heavily pointing. And then we're going to be dumping a Moye. And then Baxia can tag out into a Moye if they wanted to there, to be able to summon itself out. And then revealing the Ashina, summon out the token here, which we didn't even really need. But they can just go for the copy here of the Chijiao, activating the effect, searching for a Long Young if they wanted to. And then we get the draw. We draw into an Adhara. And I think the game is pretty much over at this point. Leaving them on 0 cards, and they're going to have a negate here. I see them special, discarding, and then summoning out. And then they get to go into a lovely Barone. Barone can actually pop. Then we're going to be seeing the, let's just see this scoop it up there, having way too much. Going to be able to do some crazy stuff here. And they had a second Heavenly Prison. It's pretty insane how Swordsoul is still able to, make some boards. That deck is always just, really just off and on crazy. I don't think it necessarily needs to get hit. But I think that, it always has to be watched. Because if it doesn't get watched, if it doesn't get untouched, we will see, a lot of times, Veiler is pretty good. It's not just a Veiler and an Omni-Negate. And while, yes, it doesn't happen, all the time, it doesn't hit, it doesn't even compare to, the boards of Vanadium that it's making. But the fact of the matter is, it makes it so consistency, which is, a problem. It doesn't get hit with Droll. You can almost play around or through Nib. And any kind of worm support is absolutely crazy for it as well. We see there's also different versions of it, playing those copies of the super heavy samurai cards, going for that turn skip availability. There's just so much synergy that it has with the synchro summoning. It just feels really cool that it can just be so versatile in this deck, which is kind of fun. It's just very balanced. The same thing with Branded. Swordsoul will never be the best deck because of the fact that of how board breakers just absolutely can cook it, which is why we see a lot of times going second. They are playing the cards that are when they're going first after game 1, they play a lot of those floodgate stuff like that, so you have to really choose between one or the other. But having a way to force out that Omni Negate, and then being either hit them with a Nib or hit them with a card that absolutely destroys their field an evenly matched, this feels kind of nice. But moving on to game 2 here, we're going to be seeing Kashtira and be going in once again. We're going to see a Terraforming, going to be able to search here for a Pressure Planet, and there's not going to see a Droll on Res. Neither a Shifter. Then we're going to see a Pressure Planet going to be activated here. Going to be searching for a potentially copy of a Unicorn. This card is at 2 for a reason. Be able to push someone out. Activating the effect, you're able to search for the Birth or a Theosis here. I always forget about that this card's a thing. It can target, and then we don't see an Ash Blossom, so I will be summoning out a Fenrir here. Fenrir can then also search for a Rise Heart. which is going to be another extender. Which we're going to be seeing it activate here. Searching for... And if we already have Rise, we could always search for Scareclaw, I guess. Searching for the Rise card here. Then we're going to special summon out the Rise card. We can actually overlay for a copy of Shangura first if we wanted to, but it doesn't really help us play around Nib. So this is going to activate the effect here, banishing the top 3. And we banish the Ogre here, so maybe having the Birth in the hand, which we do have. So we're going to be able to summon itself out. Then we can activate the effect. It's going to be searching us for the trap card, Preparations. Now, this is not even that bad of a board, to be honest. I also see an F0 line here as well. We're going to see a set 4 and just pass on this. Not even falling for that Nib summon. You know, we have lots of stuff here. We're going to see a Preparation is going to be activated as well. And then we're going to chain an anti-spell in response because our opponent does not have anything to respond to that. And this is quite good here. You know, especially if they activate any monster effects, you get to look at their extra deck as well as rip their main deck. So we're going to be stopping essentially their draws here. We didn't have a way to trigger Ogre during our turn to kind of see what they're playing. But anti-spell is quite good here, and we see them special summon out the Astronaut, and they need multiple copies of Astronaut to be able to actually, or any tennies to actually break this board here. We're going to see the Unicorn being activated here. We get to get a peek at this Swordsoul deck. Do we just start ripping out the... going for Draco Berserker here? I guess, that would be able to threaten the board and be able to, crack it. But we see a normal summon of an Ash Blossom, and that's going to go for a Barone. Or a Sinister here, I guess. That is also an option. Sinister will be able to, start slowly chipping away at those. But Barone is such a powerhouse. And we have 4 other spells in hand. Yeah, we're not doing anything. This game is over. We're going to see them attempt to attack. Chain Droplets here. But you cannot actually activate Droplets because, does anti-spell say... And just say afterwards is the question. Anti-spell is worded very interestingly. I have to read that. Anti-spell says, both players must set spells and traps before activating them, and they cannot activate them until the next turn after setting them. Their next turn until after setting them there. So anti-spell might have been able to stop that Droplets, but due to it was already being set before, that definitely is a ruling question that you guys should be asking. It has to be a full turn before they're set, so... I don't believe that Forbidden Droplets should have been able to activate there. We see them setting 4, and then we see them special summon out, or normal summon out the Unicorn off of the Birth. And then we see them going to attempt to attack, and then they do gain attack off the Pressured Planet. This should be game. Yeah, so we're going to see them get a game. They show the 4 spells that they had. Very rough for them to be able to play through that. Anti-spell is pretty crazy of a card here. But moving on into game 2, or game 3 here, actually. My bad. It's interesting to see how fast these games go by. That's what I think the simplicity of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is. We have a lot of these, absolute combo, wombo decks, like Vanadium, just spitting out so many cards, going full stuff. We have even, Labyrinth is pretty complicated, and, having multiple steps that you can take. Even with Unchained and Branded and stuff like that. A lot of these decks and Rescue Ace have a bunch of these cards that yes, you're having those 1-for-1 interactions. if you end up stopping it, or you're having these boards. But we see these, like a deck like this, with both decks. You don't set up that much interactions. You have Fenrir, you have Unicorn to be able to rip their extra deck. You have your back row cards, and then you have like just essentially like semi floodgate ish type stuff. Like even with Swordsoul, they set up essentially a Veiler as well as an Omni Negate, and then a Icarus attack, which is pretty nice. But it is very short and sweet and just straight to the point. And then with the Kashtira deck here that we are being shown, it just shows the power of like these big monsters. They're just 24s. Then we're going to be seeing the Swordsoul deck and be going first here. It doesn't look that great for them. Especially coming out the Ashina, linking away for a copy of the Monk. No shifter here. Then we can see stuff shown out of the Adhara here. They can banish the Ashina, summon out a copy of the Vishuddha here. This is a Synchro 8, which can be a copy of Chijao. Let us search here for anything that we really need. We haven't normal summoned yet as well. So, we could also search for a Moye. We're searching for the Blackout here. Then we're going to be banishing to add back. Then we normal summon the Moye, reveal, and then we're going to be revealing the token. Or we're not revealing the token. We're going to be synchro summoning out a token here. Then we're going to be synchro summoning into a copy of Draco. Like, they banished a Draco Berserker the last time, so it makes me really want to kind of go into it. And they drew into an anti-spell. There's no way. Holy. And then they set one. And the set 2 pass. They're going to draw for turn here. They're going to flip up anti-spell right away. And this is absolutely incredible here. We see a hand of green in the Kashtira player as well. But this is game 3. This is so bad. But they ended up losing to this last game. So I guess it is kind of revenge here. We do have the Fenrir, which is going to be summoning itself out. Attempting to add 50 effects. Get hit with the Chijao there. Negating its effects as a Veiler. And the rest of the hand is green. They're going to take a second to read the Draco Berserker and see if there's any kind of way to play around any of this. We see them activate a Scareclaw Kashtira. And then we're going to be banishing it with the copy of Draco Berserker there. Not even allowing himself to summon. They're going to go Battle Phase, attack into the Monk. Taking some damage there. And then they're going to be setting the 4 cards and passing here. Which is not going to be great there. Anti-Spell being an absolute crazy menace of a card. This is essentially IO, but at 3. Like, what really... When do you actually lose with Anti-Spell on the field, really? We're going to see a Taya being normal summoned, activating the effect, banishing the Monk, to summoning out a token here, and this is going to be able to go for a Baxia and spin back. Yeah, you can actually activate Vishuddha to bounce back the Fenrir, and at this point... It is 100% game. They can just go for a Baxia. Baxia can spin back as well as Taya can dump. They're going to spin back 2 cards here. And then... Is this just not game? We're going to see Battle Phase are going to be attacking for 3,000. Then attacking for 28. And yeah, this is going to be game here for 23. And that's just going to be game right then and there. And we see a Monster Reborn and a Birth. That is very unfortunate. But they had Ash as well, which is going to be able to interrupt if they had anything else. Not the craziest, but 100% anti-spell ended up winning there. Absolute menace of a card. Konami, please ban this card. Regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Want to see some more content like this. Don't forget to stay safe. Peace.